Hey, it's 2025 and the year is starting off weird, and it always is weird. You're an entertainer person, so this stuff is weird. And I love you. I'm on the mission, as I've always been, to make entertainment amazing in the world. And in the past years, I've been really focused on putting badass entertainment pros in the spotlight. And last year, I made this thing called the Gig Entertainer Survival Kit, which turned into the Gig Entertainer Ramp. And my goal with that was to reach a whole bunch of entertainers and make sure I level the playing field. Because I've always seen like sometimes it's inversely proportional the quality of a performer to the amount of financial success that they have. And so I want to find that financial success and other kind of success in badass performers, and I want to amplify it for all the people that are putting their hearts out there, not just people that are marketing whizzes, but people that have something amazing to share. I want them to be able to share it in a big way. And so that's why I'm making this video. That's why I made the ramp and the kit. And that's why I made Booby Trap, because I want to put people on a pedestal and show the world what great entertainment is, how it can transform people and make people's lives better. We are not just decoration. We are not just ornamentation. We are a crucial part of the world. And I feel that as I've looked through my life and considered being a politician or being something else that seems more practical and important, like a doctor, entertainment is really powerful to be in because it gives us the opportunity to connect to each other and change how people think. And that is really important. I think if we all were shaken up a little bit and connected with each other, that the whole world would change. We'd all be able to share common interests and work toward improving the world. So that's what we're doing. 2025 is a new year, and we have the opportunity to make entertainment better and to give great entertainment people a leg up and more success this year. I'm going to be focused on the different aspects of a business, and I'm just going to go through everything that I've learned in the past year. So I've been working one-on-one with people as their temporary business partner, and I get to see in detail, very vulnerably, how they run their business, what they're doing, how they operate, and it keeps boiling down to the same kind of things. So I want to give you a general overview of what's going on in the world so that you can see if you can adapt it to your reality. With the Gig Entertainer Ramp, my intention was to get people into action, to have a lot of Zooms and give people custom solutions. And a lot of people wanted a course. And then there's Showbiz Blueprint, which you can sign on to, that has more details from me, from Jen Slaw, and from Barry Friedman about running a business. Then you could also hire me as an action partner. I'll work one-on-one with you, and we get like straight to the point of what you're doing, or you can hire me for your web marketing. I have a system called UpDog, which is the best thing for getting people gigs. With a normal business, it breaks down to finances, value delivery, marketing, value creation, and sales. At the end of this, I'll talk about the future for what you can develop, what's to focus on to develop this year, the opportunity that's out there with modern technology in the modern world, and then maybe I'll give you some hope. I think hope is the most crucial thing for us to make progress. We need hope that things can get better before they get better. So let's start off with sales. Sales has been like creepy to me for a long time. I think it happens with a lot of performers. We feel that sales are about tricking people into things, and it's the opposite. Even like the best salespeople in the world are focused on educating and helping their customers to receive something that the customer really needs. The reason that sales can get so tricky is because often customers are looking for the wrong thing. So they might be looking for a simple solution that doesn't really solve their problem because they don't know what their problem is. So it can be a little bit tricky to help them understand. Like if somebody comes just looking for a magician, magicians are cheap. You can find a magician really easily and cheaply. You could hire a kid from the local high school, give him a book about magic tricks, and he could do a magic show. It wouldn't be good. But then when you realize that you need more than a magician, you need a magician who is experienced with an audience, who knows how to deal with an outdoor environment, who knows this thing and that thing and this thing, then the objectives become bigger, and it's worth more to get a better performer. And it's harder to replace that performer. So understanding those objectives and helping your customer, your potential customer, to understand those objectives, it's an education process, and it's a communication and relationship process. It boils down, for me, it boils down to falling in love with a person and then understanding what their objectives are. Then I can offer them an idea of a solution, possibly, that works for them. So I have a Looters format thing, and down below on this page, if you're on scott.fun/buffet, you can see my Looters format of making a proposal. And it's a love, objectives, opportunity, trust, effort, result, and step forward. That's what Looters stands for. And it is a format for communicating clearly what's going on. My information is as free as possible. Then, so when we talk to a potential client, the goal, instead of thinking through all these strategies, thinking through a whole bunch of ideas and formats and stuff like that, that's going to freeze you up, and it's going to make it harder for you to communicate and harder for you to be a human being, which is more important. It's more valuable to be a human being than to be a sales machine. The way to do that is to just try to fall in love with that person and really understand what they're trying to do. If they have a big problem, if they have a big challenge in front of them, then understanding what that big challenge is, making it explicit, helping them to understand the big challenge is helpful too. Then we can move forward with proposing a solution. The solution might be my show, it might be my writing services, it might be my production services, whatever it is. We are able to first confront the issue, and then we can progress. So that's the basic of sales. Feel free to ask me questions about that stuff. Creation, value creation. This is if you are a writer, it could be like developing your writing skills, learning, coming up with new formats for how you write, new systems for how you write, taking classes in writing and stuff like that. If you're a juggler, it might be putting together new acts, practicing, stuff like that. It's creating the product that you're selling. And this is an important thing. A lot of times an artist will like fall in love with this part of what they're doing, and then they'll feel like it's not really business to do it. It is business. It's important. And like my one client that I told him to work on his magic tricks, and he was like, oh, it just felt wrong to do it at first. And then he was really grateful because he had trouble putting aside time to work on his show without feeling guilty. And so working on that value creation thing is really important. I encourage you to work on it as a business practice, as part of your practice, as part of who you are and what your career is. Because then it helps you maybe focus on the thing that's important, like maybe making your ventriloquist dummy have a new expression on his face is important because it's going to help you sell a joke better, whatever. So let's give that value creation a really good, give it respect and give it love. Marketing is like so much fun. So the difference between sales and marketing is, the way I draw the line is, sales is, it's the thing that's going to get you money. It's a one-on-one more of a one-on-one usually, or you're talking to a committee, but usually it's one-on-one and you're selling something to a person, is sales. And then marketing is everything that you do that connects with the market and is not one-on-one. The way you create your show makes it easier to market it to certain people. The sales that you do might affect what you create for your show or for whatever your art is. So marketing is, we're thinking more generally, how do we present ourselves to the world? Branding is very important for this. My branding technique for making it simpler for you is to create a sentinel. Find your favorite customer, a real person, and study about them. Figure out who that person is. Look at them on LinkedIn and all their social media stuff. Talk to them. Keep track of their favorite things and the things that interest them. Because when you can serve that person over and over again, you'll be serving other people that are like them also. And this just kind of cuts through a lot of second guessing. If you're trying to please everybody, it's really impossible. If you're trying to you're just trying to please John Strathmore, then John Strathmore I know that he likes this kind of humor. I know that he's on this social media platform, but not that one. I know that he's interested in doing this for his job. He's interested in doing this for his family. So I can serve him and I can do great things. If you feel at any time that your sentinel is too specific, that you need 200 gigs per year and there are only 50 of this guy in the world, then you can broaden out and spread out your stuff later. But first, decide on who this person is so that you can expand it. And being very specific, it's just a relief to be able to target this kind of person. And it's also wonderful and fun because this person who is your favorite client, who got what you did, who paid you well, who didn't ask you a bunch of questions, who just set you up for success, that customer is on the mission with you, on the same mission you're on. And so it's fun to be on that same mission with them. It's fun to hang out with them. It's fun to talk to them. It's fun to work on things and get creative with them. Even if they're in a completely different job title, they are on the same mission with you and they're doing their part to make it happen. So connecting with that sentinel is really helpful. As far as the technology of modern marketing, it's constantly changing, and the way people are experiencing marketing is different. The way customers are coming in to businesses is changing. So we need to adapt with it. And I created a thing called Updog, which is a way to create a website that's completely different from everything that I've experienced before. I've worked in marketing and as a performer, and I've built over 100 websites for people. And what I've learned is that we need a website that's up right now. We need to improve it over time. We need to adapt to change of our careers and of technology and of social norms, because things are different. Yes, social media is very important to some people. Instagram following and whatever can be important to some people. It is not the only way to go. And a lot of times Instagram is not the best way to put your best face forward, because you need to constantly curate your feed and make sure that it's perfect, and it cannot have red flags in it. So making a website that has no red flags and is a professional front for your business is really crucial. And I used to think that it was kind of unimportant. It's just important for the right moments. When because I've booked a lot of people. I've booked around 1,000 people for things, and I have never gone and I can't think of any time I've gone and searched for Stilt-Walker in Los Angeles, but I have found out about a performer. Then I've searched for their name, and I wanted their website to come up so that either I could understand who they are, or so that I could share that with somebody else and say, hey, this is the person that I want to book, and I have easy access to all their credits and stuff like that. Some people are not. Most people are not as experienced as me, so they might take a website way more seriously than I do. I can see a website and say, oh, this is broken, this person is a mess with their business, but maybe they're okay as a performer. Other people don't see it that way. They think like, this person doesn't have it together. This person can't afford to hire a web maker or something like that. So what we're trying to do with all of our marketing stuff is to have objective proof of value. We need to have a clear value statement as if we were talking to our Sentinel. Then we need to clearly state that value statement. Then we need to prove it. We educate the audience by proving it with objective proof of value instead of subjective things. Scott Neri is wonderful at captivating a crowd. Instead of that, if I say, Simon Cowell said Scott Neri is wonderful at captivating a crowd, then I have an objective thing that happened. Simon Cowell said it. If I have proof of my value, then it makes my marketing completely trustworthy and an education tool instead of a fanciness tool, whatever. We don't want to look fancy. We don't want to look expensive. We want to look super high value, and we want everybody to feel like they're getting a deal. Even people that buy the most expensive yachts, they still want to feel like they're getting a deal because they're getting a yacht that is like better than everything else and it's the right price. So we want to have that objective proof of value. And then how do you make a website, and then you make a video, and then you make an EPK? Just go redundant with it all. To have the same value proposition, then have the same proof of value over and over again, because it's the best thing that you can do. If you have even if you have a huge marketing budget, this is what I recommend. You state your value, prove it, get out of the way. Get straight to a call to action. Get them to contact you and get into a conversation. The conversation in the sales is going to be extremely valuable. If you can talk to them for a while and really understand what situation they're in, fall in love with them, then you're super valuable. So you want to get from the marketing to the sales as quickly as possible. And once you deliver value, you want to get back into sales again. You want to either get a rebooking or a referral from that person. Value delivery is an important thing. Delivering the sunglasses, getting them boxed and shipped and delivered. If you're delivering art, graphic art to somebody, then you need to figure out what system you're using to deliver the art, to get feedback and stuff like that. If you're performing, then you're figuring out how do you perform it on stage? How are you spending time? What energy are you outputting to perform your performance? Because you might put together your show and that's value creation, but then when you perform it, it's different every time. And how are you delivering that thing? If you're kind of balancing out your time, you're thinking about how much time are you delivering, how much time are you spending doing shows versus doing the other parts of your business. You want to try to find a balance between all these aspects of your business so that you don't feel like anything's falling through the cracks and that you're keeping up with everything, and it makes everything else stronger when we're balancing out the different parts of our business and keeping it well-rounded. A lot of times people are like, oh, I would do this for free if I could. And there are people that say, well, I love every kind of show. And then when I drill down and ask them for details about it, or I pick out certain instances, they go, oh yeah, I don't really like that. So let's not fool ourselves. We love delivering in certain situations. So let's figure out what certain situations we like delivering in and figure out how to do that the best. For one thing, for me, I was doing all kinds of shows, and one show I did was $300 or something at a festival, and then the next day or 2 days later, I had a gig for $10,000, and I was exhausted from the previous day of performing outside. I couldn't deliver the way I wanted to. I could have conquered that room better. I did a great job. They liked it. They were happy. Everybody was good. But I just knew that I could have hit the tricks better. I could have been sharper on the jokes if I had had more rest. And so figuring out that delivery thing is very important, and focusing on it and what it really means is important. Finances, this is where it comes to finances. if I would have figured out that I want to do $10,000 shows and have enough space around myself to be able to do that, then I could do the math of how many shows I need to do in a year. And instead of just every time I get a call saying, oh, I need to take this gig, I would be able to say like, okay, I need to make space so that I have room for these $10,000 gigs. And I also need to set myself up so that if I, like, let's say I want to take a $500 gig, then I need to make sure that I have the ability to cancel if I get a $10,000 gig, because I don't want that $500 client to be screwed when I cancel. So I might say something like, I will do the show, but if I can't do it, if I cancel for any reason, I'm going to be able to find an adequate performer for $500 for you. Either I eat the extra money or I figure out another way to do it so that I can replace myself for that amount of money. And it's an important thing I ask when I'm an action partner for somebody and I'm working on their sales with them and they're trying to figure out how much to bid, how much to charge for a gig, I tell them to charge the least amount possible. So that least amount could be a huge dollar amount, but it's the least amount for you to walk away giggling, for the client to be happy, and for business to be sustainable. So like a $10,000 gig in the format of a business that makes $10,000 per gig, that is a necessary price for that kind of gig, because I'm irreplaceable in what I do. I am guaranteeing that I'm going to be there, blocking out the time in my calendar, blocking out days in advance for rest and repair. I'm making sure that I'm providing quality, that all my props and all my stuff is all set up, and that I have a plan for the future, and that I'm not stressed out. And there's a lot of stuff that goes into a higher priced performer, and as well as like a longer sales process, deeper relationships with clients, stuff like that. So getting all that stuff together and figuring out that finance part of it is important. You could kind of figure out what your minimum rate could be, and then for negotiation and stuff, I don't really negotiate on price because it leaves everybody feeling kind of sucky. So I just give the best price I can right up front, and if they come back to me and they say that they can't afford it, I say, is there any part of what I offered you that you don't need? Then they say, well, we don't need you to show up a day early. So I say, okay, I can cut off this much money for, if I don't need a hotel, I can cut out this amount of the price. But I offer them, for what I offer them, I always offer them the lowest price possible. And I try to manage my finances thinking about what I'm offering and being realistic, kind of getting some distance from it, so that when I'm talking to a client, I can really figure out, and I could be grounded in knowing what's right for me. In a proposal process, I get like a little bit nervous and tense. So when I talk to a client or a prospect on the phone and I get an idea of what, I fall in love with them and I understand what their objectives are, I'll usually set up another call with them and I'll say, I'm going to send you some ideas, and would you be able to talk on Tuesday at 2 p.m. and we could go over the ideas. I'll send you the ideas tomorrow by noon and we could talk on Tuesday. Would that work? So then I can get off the phone with them and figure out what my pricing is, figure out what the scope of work is, and then I can give them a proposal. It's hard for me a lot of times to give them a proposal on the phone because there's a lot of pressure to think through everything. And if I get off the phone and I have a chance to sit and really think about what they need to do, then I can come up with some really good ideas that really help them and that are exciting for both of us. And then I can figure out a good price. I could imagine myself all the way through the process of doing the gig, and I can get them a really accurate description of what it's going to cost me and what it's going to cost them in order to get the thing done. After finances, we've got health and productivity. Health and productivity are things that a freelancer definitely has to think about. With all these things, it's good to have a practice set up so that you're constantly staying on top of these things. Set up a cycle so that you're constantly working on all these things and evaluating all these things all the time and trying to balance them out and enjoy every part of them. Every single one of these things is a good thing. And you're a problem solver. That's why you're a creative person. You like solving problems. So let's figure out how to make it a game. Health is an important thing to think about. If you look at successful people, many of them are focused on getting some kind of a health regimen, or they're genetically extremely physically sustainable, and there are people doing great stuff with their health. I try to exercise every day, and I'm working on my diet. Mental health is extremely important, so meditating, connecting with other people is really helpful. Probably the best thing we could do for our mental health is to take a walk with a friend. So light cardio and connection are really important. You could take a walk and talk on the phone, and that'll do a lot for your mental health. Eat fiber, get a macro balance, try to not smoke that much. Productivity. I've been a productivity geek for a long time, and I've worked on different systems, read a bunch of books about it, and helped a lot of different entertainment pros through their productivity things. The weird thing is that it takes effort. Like, being more productive it takes time to do. Focusing on productivity, but it actually takes up time to be more productive. Time when you could be doing something else. You could be jumping in and putting out fires. Instead, you're working on the big picture. And that's what it comes down to, is what's the big picture? What's important? What's important to us? Let's just do the important things. The world is full of a million things that we can be doing, and we're not doing most of them. We're not doing, point whatever, 99.9 forever % of the things that we could be doing. So let's just work on the things that are important. And I put a guide on how to create a mission, vision, path, stuff like that. You could read that and maybe set up a way for you to do that, so that you're on a single path in life and you're working on the thing that's important. Evaluate the things that are important to you each day, and you can come up with just a few things that are important for you to achieve today. What's the gap between where I am and where I want to be, and how do I fill that gap? What's the most important thing that I can do? There's also my idea of a flitch, which is taking what's the one move that will take the biggest chunk out of the project that I'm working on. Yeah, so getting grounded in what the mission is, what the big picture is, and not getting distracted by tactics or the next task, because tasks and tools and skills and different stuff can get distracting. But if you don't need a skill to get to the goal, then skip it. If the goal is to get good web marketing together, and there's a super effective way to do it, like buying Updog, then do that instead of... That's the biggest thing. Everybody's maxed out, and every single person is maxed out, and we're all doing the best that we can. We don't have extra time, extra stuff. We might feel an abundance of things. We don't have extra. We just have what we have. And we don't have extra time. We don't have spare change. We just have what we have. And so the way to move forward and to put more in is to take more out, to start to excise things that are not helping us or are not helping us to the max. And one of the things that can be cut out pretty well is our second guessing, our self-doubt, our depression, our doom scrolling kind of activities. If we find ourselves procrastinating, we're not actually skipping out on what's important, on what we're doing. We are working on something. We might be working through our trauma, we're working through something, but we're working on a smaller problem than our big problem of what we might want to share joy with the world. We might be eating pizza in order to deal with a temporary discomfort. So if we focus on a bigger problem, like sharing joy with the world or preventing suicide or something like that, then we might take bigger actions to support that bigger problem. And we can cut out the second guessing by having somebody that we're accountable for, by having experts, by lining up with experts that help us and help us make decisions, and by asking for deep advice. So if we post like a single sentence on Facebook asking for advice on something, we probably won't get a very good answer. But if we are able to sit down with somebody and get it's been really great for me. I've been able to sit down with people for 2 hours at a time and get a real download of what they're doing and what their issue is and what objectives they're really trying to approach. Then we can come up with real solutions. I can give them real strong advice based on who they are, what their specific situation is, and what the real thing, the real core thing that they're trying to achieve is. So that's what we're doing with the productivity. We're trying to focus on what's important, cut out all the stuff that's not important. That makes room for the things that are important and all the effort that we're going to need to put in. My friend said he estimates that a project's going to take 3 times as long as his first estimation. And I think it's sometimes a lot more than that. So we got to cut out a lot. We got to say no to a lot. We got to really figure out what we want and go for that. And people say, how do I get this gig from this person? And I'm like, do you want to talk to them? Do you like talking to them? Is it fun? Okay, then talk to them. Or if you don't, then don't talk to them. Don't spend your time with people that are bummers, because there are plenty of people that are awesome that are on our mission with us. And that's how to be more productive. Okay, next up, opportunity. The opportunity that's in front of us right now in 2025 is amazing. We have incredible technology. We have incredible social change that is fueling some really neat stuff. If you love making transformative experiences for people, then this is the time for you, because people are more into big transformation than ever before. People want special opportunities. People want special events, special things to happen. They want to pay thousands of dollars to go see Taylor Swift. They don't want to see 40 concerts in a year anymore. They want something that is really big, and we can be that big thing for them. We can create big stuff and have a big impact. Even if we do a show at a brewery for 20 people, we can have it be so intimate and powerful that it changes them, and that it really affects every single person there and gives them an exclusive experience that they can't get anywhere else. So we're in this time when people are looking for these special experiences. They're looking for the movie of the year instead of a movie to watch. They're looking for the social experience that is perfect for them and their friends. They want special things, and we can do that. We can provide that for them. If you like making an impact on people's hearts, then this is the time for you. The technology is incredible. We can do things remotely. We can connect with people remotely in new ways. Zoom is an accepted way of communicating, and we can Zoom with people, set up meetings with them, and kind of teleport to where they are so we can see their faces and experience their environment. And these relationships that we have are super valuable. This kind of opportunity with Zoom is insane. We also have the ability to automate so much stuff. AI is super, people are really loud about AI, and to me, it's just another machine that is taking away our work, so we don't have to do the crappy work that we don't want to do. Just like machines laid railroad tracks and mined for coal and other stuff. The point of machines has always been to take away our work, take away our effort, and help us to raise to a higher position on Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And that's what AI is doing now. So AI is awesome. I've been using ChatGPT a lot for I don't really like it to, I don't like anything produced by ChatGPT to touch my outside audience, my customers and stuff like that. And I learned last year with the ramp and the Gig Entertainer Survival Kit that people thought that I was being cheap, or I was being, I don't know, messed up or fake, or abandoning artists by tapping into AI and making these AI generated images. I just thought they were funny, and I thought they were apropos to what the current climate was with AI in the world. I thought it would be fun, and it was actually a lot of work to do AI. Like, I've done graphic design for New Kids on the Block and all these different big companies. So I can do graphic design, I can do illustration, I can do photography. I was using AI laboriously to create images. But at this point, I don't want AI to really touch anything. I don't want it to be the thing that my customers see, unless it's like an example. I could use a image for an example that if I need a bunch of examples of images, something like that. Mostly I use it for behind the scenes, for brainstorming, for thinking through a thing, for understanding best practices, for if I need one thing from documentation of software or something like that, I can use AI to search that. I can find excerpts from a book if I have a whole book in PDF format. That, like, my friend wrote a book and I needed to find the most interesting excerpts that I could use in social media. So it scanned a huge over 100 page book and found some interesting emotional excerpts that I could use for social media posts. And it's been really good for me for coding, and it's taught me a lot about communication. It's taught me a lot about how I delegate things and how people cannot read my mind, and neither can AI. That automation technology and then outsourcing is amazing too. We can reach people with a way lower cost of living that are very educated and very caring and helpful and good people all over the world. I believe that most people are good and most people are trying to make the world a better place. So it's easy for me to reach out to these people and employ people with different skills around the world. Anything that is repeatable and systemizable, we can make it into a way to instruct somebody or a way to instruct automation and create automation for tasks. Being a freelancer, we have a lot to keep up with, and the world is changing really fast, so keeping up with all that stuff is crucial. We don't have to be perfect for the future, but let's just stay on top of it and let our old dogs learn new tricks and keep on looking with hope toward that changing world. The way Google is organized has changed, and there are performers and different creators who are embracing that change, and there are other people that are complaining about the change, and we can embrace all the change and grow with it. And that's our job anyway. We need to grow in order to survive as living creatures, develop. So the most valuable skill in business, according to people, is communication. Our relationships are super crucial, and our communication is going to continue to be really helpful to us this year and into the future. I need to learn to communicate really well with ChatGPT in order for it to communicate back to me and give me the results that I want. So communication, even talking to AI, is really helpful. Communication, talking to other people, is a skill that we need to continuously build upon. And I talked about the Looters format, and Looters is like an extended version of what I try to do is love, affirm, and progress. My friend calls it a lap dance. I establish how I love somebody. I share the situation that we're in, and then I suggest progress. A lot of times I get super excited about the progress step, so I say, like, I just jump to, like, hey, we should go to a pizza place, instead of like, man, I'm so glad to be with you. This is incredible. It's wonderful that we have this time to share together because you inspire me every time. That's love, right? We're both hungry. We love Italian food, and we like to go to interesting places. So let's go to this. This place is kind of expensive. It's gonna be fun though. Let's go to this place down the street. It changes the way that the communication happens, and it makes it collaborative. I'm stating that I'm with them and I'm trying to come up with a solution. Instead of saying, let's go to this expensive pizza place, my suggestion doesn't come out of left field. It comes from a place of love. It comes from a place of knowing what the situation is, and it comes with a solution and a way to move forward. Not only is it helpful to get this in the right order, but it also to get it in the right order so that people are not challenged by our suggestion, because unsolicited advice is the same thing as criticism. And so the thing to develop this year especially is I think it's helpful for people to play with ChatGPT and see if it's a tool that you'd like to use. It will not solve everything. I think of it as like, if I spend an hour with ChatGPT, I'm pretty much going to get like the level of work that I would get from a high school student if I hired them for a week. So not really an expert, not really a person with an opinion or a strong individuality, but I would get somebody who's like willing to put in some work into research and stuff like that. And that's what I feel like I get from ChatGPT at this point. Even the high level version that I'm subscribed to. And as far as skills to develop, figure out where the gap is in the things that you want to do in each of these things: finance, sales, productivity, whatever. What's holding you back? And then develop a skill just for that. So that means like maybe you read only part of a book that is going to take you to that next level and get you the solution. Maybe you sign up for a course, but you only take the portions of the course that help you the most in your gap. And so be strategic in gaining the skills, because for me, I can get really excited about gaining skills. I learned so many things and got so into the idea of being DIY that I just kind of got super jack of all trades and master of none. And that really, I tied it all together now, and I help people make bigger impacts. I make people with genuine hearts more successful. And it took a long time to tie all those things together. So let's figure out the thing that you really want to do in the world, and then figure out what the gaps are for that. Those are the skills to develop. If you want ideas about how to do that, how to fill those gaps, then you could hire me as an action partner to work through that stuff with you and find out where your blind spots are and eliminate them. Take action and make your business more well-rounded. I'm glad to do that. Sometimes I do some group coaching things online, and I'm glad to help you however I can. Hope is the last thing. So I'm extremely hopeful. I see tons of people succeeding in doing new stuff, and I constantly look for beacons. I look for these people and businesses that are successful and doing things right. The human brain has negativity bias, so we're constantly looking for danger and poison and stuff like that. It's really easy to see a performer who is financially successful and doing a really bad job on stage, what we'd consider a bad job, or a comedy club that seems to be thriving, yet it doesn't book good performers, or a movie that's a blockbuster that's completely barren of ethics or heart or whatever, humanity. So we look for the beacons. Fred Rogers, Mr. Rogers said, look for the helpers. And that's what I try to do all the time, is I look for those beacons, those companies and people that are doing amazing things for the world and doing it right. One example is Randy Pitchford, who's the head of Gearbox Software and Gearbox Entertainment. He is also the owner of the Magic Castle. He's constantly trying to do good things for people, support performers, support entertainment, and make things better. He's had a huge impact on selling millions of games and helping people have more fun in life. He's financially successful, living a good life, and he finds a lot of joy in life. He's a beacon for me. There are a ton of them, so you might be one. If you're watching this, you might be one, because this video is for you. There's the Comedy and Magic Club in Hermosa Beach is another company that I want to talk about. They're constantly booking great entertainment. They're constantly taking really good care of their customers. They have good food. They have good drink service, everything. They have a drink maximum. They try to keep people from getting too drunk, getting ruined. They try to set up all their comedians for great stuff. They have an amazing green room where you can hang out with Jay Leno and Arsenio Hall. It's really great to be able to hang out with a ton of good performers and to be in front of an audience that's amazing. They're another beacon for me. And there are a bunch of these like beacon companies and individuals that I keep my eyes focused on and keep on thinking it is possible. Like I said before, the opportunity ahead of us is to create great stuff that's special to people. And we can do it. We've done it before. We've been successful. And we did it not knowing what the future was. What the truth is we don't know. We're a bunch of dingles. We're trying to make it happen. There's always been a level of chaos. There's always been a level of lack of control. And the more we jump into that and the more we lean into it, the better off we are. The people that are growing the most are asking for help. They are also jumping into things before they're ready. They are not looking for a chance to be ready. Mario Andretti said, it's one of my favorite quotes, if you feel like you're in control, it just means you're not going fast enough. And that's what I find is true as I've worked with all these different creatives and freelancers and small businesses. I've found that it's the same thing. The people that are making the most progress, that have the most ambition, are people that they're skateboarding downhill. They don't know what's coming. They don't feel completely in control. And they're just jumping in and making it happen because they have those big ambitions, because they want something better. If you're doing something great for the world and somebody else in your field is not doing something as great for the world, the amount that you can put out there is limitless. And the drive, instead of pushing ourselves, if we can be pulled forward by something big, then that is way more fun and it's way more productive. It's way more effective and will make us way more prolific. The creators that I know are enjoying the work that they do. They really enjoy it, even if it seems hard to somebody else. And like Kenny Scharf, he's a painter. He was friends with Andy Warhol and in that whole pop revolution. And you go to his studio and he's putting out painting after painting and playing around with it and just like dancing, and really enjoys himself in the stuff that he creates. That's what we can all be doing. Our wildest selves, our truest selves, our most flawed selves are what the world wants. Scarcity is extremely valuable, and the most scarce thing is not an acrobat. There are a lot of acrobats. There's only one you that ties together everything that you are. And you can provide something special to the world, not because you're a snowflake or anything like that, but because you have all these aspects to who you are. And when you bring all those aspects and you can put them all to use, then you can provide something very valuable. Like for me, with my show Booby Trap, I had experience as an MC. I had a lot of connections with a bunch of different performers. I had an idea of, I'd seen a lot of shows and been in a lot of shows that I liked or disliked for different reasons. I had been like super nerdy about how to do all this stuff. I had also rebuilt theaters. All this stuff came together into one show, and I was able to use all these parts. If I was just an MC, just brought into a show to be an MC, then what I was offering was not very valuable. So when a performer came in and I saw them having the same kind of issues, I was able to empathize with them and help to serve them better and help to set them up for better, bigger success. So like all this stuff of who I am coming together, and the more wildly I let myself express that value I can put out into the world, the more fulfilled I can feel in the work that I'm doing. You are a wild vine. You are not a potted plant. You have the opportunity to express yourself and put yourself out there and do something amazing for the world. If we're guarded and we're protective and we're fearful, and fear is fine, it's a feeling, it's emotion, it's a gift. If our fear becomes a mindset, then that mindset is going to limit us and it's going to hold back parts of our light. and parts of who we are. So let's let our light shine. A lot of my artist friends are seeing a chaotic world, seeing politics and environmental stuff. I'm in Santa Barbara, displaced from my home. They're seeing all this different stuff as kind of daunting, maybe. Chaos is a place that anybody can thrive in. Chaos gives any of us an opportunity to rise out and win. It levels the playing field for everyone. So what do we want to do? We want good-hearted people to be making a big impact on the world with their good hearts and their philanthropy. So let's be those good-hearted people. Let's move forward and let's make amazing things happen by being our full selves. There is incredible hope for this year. We don't know what that looks like. We don't know what progress looks like exactly, but let's stay focused on making progress, on jumping forward, on growing, and being honest. That is all that we need to do. If you have a good heart, I love you, I care about you. We're going to get great stuff happening this year. Check out my resources below. See if any of my services can help you. I have extensive experience in a whole bunch of different things. And if I can put those things together for you in any way to move the stuff that you have forward, I will do that for you for free if I can. If it takes up a bunch of my effort and time and stuff, that could be really worth it to you. So let's connect and make that stuff happen. I think you're awesome. I'm going to try to get you gigs this year and try to get you the good gigs, the gigs that you want. Everybody wants different gigs, believe it or not. There's like this guy, my favorite entertainer, Michael Rayner, he likes doing library shows for kids. He kind of doesn't make space in his life for doing high-end corporate gigs that he could be doing because he likes to hustle around, do 10 shows in a week at libraries, and that's what he does. Somebody else told me that they flew onto a yacht on a helicopter and performed for 20 people. And he was like, it's a dream gig, obviously. And I was like, that isn't the kind of lifestyle that I want personally. So everybody has their own dream gigs, and you might like performing for lonely engineers in Silicon Valley. You might enjoy performing in church basements. We are not competing with each other. We are helping to raise each other up and give each other the opportunities to make great stuff happen. Thank you for joining me. It's 2025. We're doing it.